Welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. Whoop, what is that? Five of Pentacles. Okay. We'll see about that later. So, if you're here, we're continuing on with our messages by human design profile. So you could be a martyr role model, 3-6 profile, or you could be wondering, what the hell is this? Both are welcome. All are welcome. So if you don't know your human design profile, there is a link in the description to get your human design body graph. You'll need the same information that you need for your natal chart. So your birth date, time, and location. The time is a bit more finicky with human design because depending on the time of day, it could change a few different things in your profile. So if you don't know the exact time, maybe you have an intuition about when you were born. Most people do. Or maybe you've been told throughout life that you were born at a certain time of day. So maybe you were told that, you were born in the morning, afternoon, evening, overnight. I would just use a time correlating to that time of day. Of course, if you really don't know, you can use noon. That's fine. Just know that there is a potential. And, you can always just kind of play around with it. Like, you can put in different times and see if it does change for you. Like for me, it doesn't matter what time of day I would have been born on the day that I was born. I was going to be a 5-1 profile. But like my dad, for instance, it does change for him depending on the time. So again, it's not, like I said, you can just kind of play around with that. Forgive me for not finding my words. That has just been a theme like for the last 2 weeks. And I'm just assuming that I'm going through like a throat chakra upgrade. So last time we read from the definitive book of human design, we read the background part, and today we're going to read this personal section. So this paragraph here, and then of course we'll get into the reading. So it says, trust is a big issue for you, as is perfection, which can put stress on relationships that can't meet your standards and expectations. When you have trust, you feel secure in life. At the same time, you are involved in a very natural process of discovery. You make and break bonds which may not meld easily with your unconscious motivation to find a soulmate and settle down into the perfect life you can trust. Your 6th line carries a quality of nobility beyond the mundane, and you can become disappointed when the perfection is marred and withdraw for a time when life simply doesn't work the way you expect it to. You can be a fence sitter, as indecision is a theme throughout your life. The 3rd line wants to enter into the experience, while the 6th line would rather observe and not commit itself. Doing something, however, is better than doing nothing. You are designed to gather experiences, but only the experiences that are correct for you. Relief from the indecision comes when you have a navigation tool such as strategy and authority. While your 6th line unconscious wants life to be perfect, your conscious 3rd line needs to learn about perfection through the often messy trial and error process. When things don't seem to work, your 3rd line pessimism can cloud your outlook on life, while the unconscious 6th line wants to maintain its optimistic nature. Seeing your 3rd line trial and error process as positive rather than negative will help you maintain a more optimistic and objective attitude about life. There are no mistakes for a 3rd line, only discoveries, which are critical to your development into an experienced and wise role model. You must be deeply engaged with life in a hands-on way in order to learn and develop your self-confidence and self-mastery. The journey for you is to recognize the wisdom of your third line discoveries and then allow your natural and wise authority to express as a living example of what you have learned. You are sought out for your advice and blessings, and when you give your stamp of approval or not, your word is respected. It is also important that you have time alone. The theme of bonds made and broken is not personal. You are not leaving the other person, but simply returning to your own self-absorbed third line process until life engages you again. Sometimes breaking a bond is appropriately permanent, but most of the time breaking a bond simply means going for a drive or to a movie by yourself, and then returning home for a meal with the family, or breaking a bond in order to come together again sooner or later to establish that bond on a stronger, more authentic level. Very interesting. Does that sound like you? There we go. I should have probably mentioned, like, this is what your body graph would look like minus all of the notes. So, it'll show you what your type is. It'll tell you what your definition is, your strategy, your profile, your inner authority, not self-theme, and your incarnation cross. So, it was talking about that tool that is your strategy and authority, and how that will help you determine what experiences are quote unquote correct for you. Because I think, like, part of the, I want to say human experience, but, for that third line, and really, like, for anybody, and what is one of the cool things of human design, I mean, there's many, but it's understanding that just because you can doesn't mean you should. So, just because you can enter an experience doesn't necessarily mean that you should. And also, that part about seeing the discovery process, or that trial and error process, as a positive versus a negative, or, it being a burden. Because the whole purpose of the experiences that you do have is to get you to a point of being that role model. Like it was saying, your experience and advice is respected. And that's because you go through that third line discovery, trial and error, bumping up against things, bumping up against people, right? Like life coming at you. All of that is so that later on in life, you're able to come out as that role model who, like, all of the ways that things don't work. So you can share the ways that do work. And like it was saying, in your own life, right? Like kind of living that example in your own life. And the thing with the sixth lines, sorry, the edges of these cards tend to shed a little bit, and they're new-ish for me, so my OCD needs to clear that up. But the sixth line has 3 stages of life, right? So that the first third of your life, basically up until your Saturn return, or around there, you're going to be living as a 3-3. So, the first part of your life is about the trial and error process, which can be difficult to go through for you and for, you know, even the people around you if they don't understand kind of what's going on. And then from around 28 to 30 until about 50-ish, you're up on the roof, or kind of more, what's the word I'm looking for? More observant, like it was saying actually in the book, because now, you know, like you have all those experiences from your first third of life, and it's about, you know, kind of integrating those things. And I think the last time it mentioned that, you know, you don't get the full experience up on the roof because that third line is going to kind of keep pulling you down. Usually when they start popping out like that, they're like, okay, let's go. I'm just going to do a 6-card spread. So just 2 rows of 3. And just to finish my thought on that, and then, you know, from 50 on is when you kind of emerge as that role model. So again, it's like, you know, recognizing that all these experiences that you're having, all this trial and error, you know, that you're going through, it is all serving a purpose so that you can emerge as this role model later in life. And that's not necessarily like you're going to be up on a stage or, you know, like whatever. It's not, it doesn't necessarily have to be like that extravagant, or it certainly can, not taking that away. But I just kind of heard in my head, like, what if I don't want to be a role model? It's just, you know, even just affecting the people around you. And even if that is just by the way that you live your life, as an example. There we go. Let's see. So yeah, again, you know, definitely check out your strategy and authority. There is a lot of great information available on YouTube, just by Googling. Interesting. Okay, so I realized that I didn't call out the cards as they were coming out, so I apologize for that. We have the 3 of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Star, the High Priestess, 4 of Cups, and 6 of Wands. And then the 5 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So we'll just kind of go through each card as we do, starting with the 3 of Wands. First, I mean, like, it's interesting that besides this card, like, there's a lot of the same tone going on here. For me, anyway. Which is cool. I love that. You can just really kind of tell, like, I mean, this all just goes together, really. And then the one that's standing out here is the High Priestess. As they should. So we start with the 3 of Wands. And the 3 of Wands talks about direction. I mean, Wands talk about action, communication, creativity, passion. I see the Wands as being information cards also. So this could just be, you know, like receiving information. But there's also these three ships here that appear to be, you know, kind of circling, right? We have this frog with the three wands. So there could be some sort of contemplation going on here, like maybe considering multiple offers, multiple directions. You know, the Three of Wands also talks about expanding your horizons. So there could even be like some sort of breakthrough. Going on here. There's definitely kind of this energy about keeping an open mind. Because then we have the High Priestess underneath that, right? And the High Priestess is about intuition. I see the High Priestess as being our star player, right? Like our higher selves. I'm being in tuned with that star player, right? Like, and, you know, she's holding a pomegranate right at her solar plexus here. Pomegranates signify fertility, but it's, you know, kind of like birthing opportunity, fertility and abundance, right? And the solar plexus talks about creativity, self-esteem. So this, you know, like this Three of Wands, like whatever this Three of Wands is for you, you know, like whether that's information coming in, whether that's, you know, multiple offers that you have, or, you know, kind of choosing a new direction to head in. You know, the High Priestess is here to say, you know, like really kind of check in and make that decision from a place of intuition. Like not what you think that you should do. And in human design anyway, you know, like they say not to make any decisions from your head space, because the head space is a pressure center. So you're going to feel that pressure, but you allow that to sink into your body and you make those decisions from your strategy and authority, which is, again, is another reason why to check that out. And then we have the Ace of Wands here. And, you know, the Ace of Wands talks about this new passion, new creativity. New information even, right? There's a lot of desire that comes with the Ace of Wands. What is the thing that you are desiring? And, you know, we have the Four of Cups underneath that. And the Four of Cups talks about being, you know, like just kind of meh. There's some level of disappointment here too, like the Three Cups that, you know, maybe they've already tried what's in these Three Cups and been disappointed by it. But there's this fourth cup that's being offered here, and this person's kind of turning their nose up to it. And this cup that's being offered is the Ace of Cups here. Also, it's being offered from the left side, which is being offered from the past. So there could be some sort of, we have this passion coming up, this desire, this, like something that is very exciting. And maybe it's something to do with, an interest that you had in the past. Maybe you are getting more information on something from the past in order to make a decision, because the cups talk about our emotions. The wands talk about what we're going to do. What are we actually going to go towards, put our energy into? The cups talk about how we feel about it. So, maybe whatever you have been doing just has left you feeling unfulfilled. And maybe there's a bit of hesitation to accept this cup. Or it's maybe even that you're not necessarily like open to receiving it, like especially if there's kind of this attitude or this, kind of feeling of just being meh about it, like I don't really want to be disappointed again, or I don't really want to get myself excited just for it to kind of either fizzle out or fall apart or whatever the case may be. But, there's two aces being offered here, right? Like the Ace of Wands and then this Ace of Cups coming in from the past. And not to mention, it would be coming from the High Priestess here, because the High Priestess is the card to the left. So again, like really being in tune with that star player. And then going from this Three of Wands to the Ace of Wands. So it's, like making a decision, deciding on either which one of these ships has what you've been waiting for. Or again, you received the information that you needed in order to decide on which wand is going to be the one that you choose. And then we have Gus here. Oh, remember Gus from Cinderella? Oh my God. And we have the Star card after that. The Star card talks about faith, trust, right? I mean, you can even just kind of see that, like this figure is just kind of diving towards this, just really going for it, right? There's this level of surrender. I always see the Star card as being that place between the 5D of like prayers and meditation and manifestation, and the 3D, which is where we are, right? So it's like that space between where all of that, like the two energies kind of come together, and we go for this thing, or we even, pull it down or head towards it, or just kind of jump in and go for it. And then we have the Six of Wands. Beautiful. This is success, victory, harmony, right? I mean, like coming through it. I love how, there's the Five of Wands down here, kind of attached or like, to her hands, or to her hand, I should say. And then the Ace of Wands up here. I love that. Because it is about, like getting your hands dirty, like really kind of getting into the mix of it all, right? And I love this whole story. Like we go from, kind of picking the thing based on, your strategy and authority, or, like just your intuition, like what is the best thing for you not based on other people's opinions and, you know, even societal standards and all of that, blah, 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 right? And then it's like, you know, choosing something, but, you know, allowing yourself to receive this cup and allowing yourself to even be open to exploring what's in that cup again, right? Like even the book was kind of talking about trying not to get stuck in that pessimism that the third line brings, right? But then there's this star and the Six of Wands. So there is going to be success from this thing, from this situation is going to be successful. And, you know, it's kind of like trusting the process. And then the Five of Swords at the bottom of the deck. The Five of Swords, I see the Five of Swords as being like a battle of wits. Because, you know, swords have to do with our thoughts, our intellect. I see them as being our ego as well, because generally that's where we hear our ego is in our minds. So this is almost like, you know, kind of fighting with yourself. It could be a level of competition, mental gymnastics, like that type of thing. You know, the Five of Swords or the fives in general are energies to move through. They're not energies to get stuck in. But what's amazing is that on the other side, or right behind the Five of Swords, is the Nine of Pentacles, which is financial independence, financial success. So it's like, right, like, this could be kind of what you're fighting for, but this could also be what is being blocked by, you know, kind of staying in an old way of doing things. And staying, you know, almost even in this energy, right? Like not accepting the cup, not taking this information or whatever from the past. It doesn't necessarily have to be from the past. It's just, you know, there's something that is coming in, information that would be coming in that would almost just kind of, you know, change things about maybe something you've tried before or something along those lines. But if you can allow yourself to just kind of, you know, like almost like relax through it. And again, trying not to make that decision from the headspace. There's success on the other side. I mean, there's success either way. We go from the Three of Wands. And isn't this interesting? Oh my gosh. How cool is this? We start with the Three of Wands and we end with the Six of Wands. And you're the 3-6 profile. Oh my. That is really effing cool. And honestly, that is the first time that's even happened in one of these readings. How cool. Go get it. Whatever it is, go get it. This is your message to get it. And that's what I'm going to name this video if I don't forget by the time I do that. And I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. I will talk to you soon. Bye.